Many of you may be getting ready to head south for the winter, or spend just a week or two in some sunny vacation spot. And of course, for those of you planning a beach holiday, you'll no doubt be looking forward to a refreshing swim in the ocean and thinking about nothing more than those welcoming waves washing over you.
Yeah, sounds lovely, but our next guest would urge you to think a little more carefully. Peter Jennings is a few days away from publishing a book called Shark Assault, which is the chilling story of one Canadian woman's harrowing experience with just what the title suggests. Peter, welcome. Thanks for joining us on Toronto Files. And
thanks, Jim. Thanks, Helen.
Let's get straight to the story of Shark Assault.
Well, it is a true story. It's about a lady by the name of Nicole Moore, who was a nurse from Orangeville, Ontario. She was in Cancun, Mexico, with a group of friends. She was literally waist deep in water on the beach when she was savagely and brutally attacked twice by a bull shark. Wow. A bull shark, by the way, is the shark of the 375 species that the experts tell you is the worst. Peter Benchley, of course, wrote Jaws about the great white pussycat. Right. It's the bull shark that's a meanie.
Okay, wow. So a little more detail. She was just in the water doing nothing in particular to incite this attack?
Well, Helen, it was a perfect storm, the reason that it happened. She was in the water actually washing her body from sand. She'd been playing volleyball. She was about to go scuba diving. And she was waist deep in the water just washing the sand off her body. What had happened apart from that is that a year or two before, there had been horrendous storms in the area. They'd wiped out the beaches of the resorts. So the resort owners hired a firm from Europe who came and brought sand, essentially from upriver, upshore, and put it on the beaches to rebuild the beaches. Problem was, that was the breeding ground for the sharks, and that left the sharks disoriented, particularly in the case of a bull shark, you did not want a disoriented shark. The third piece of the puzzle was that two sharks had been sighted at the Hotel North, and they got their people out of the water. They didn't pass the word down the beach to the other hotels. Two guys went out on jet skis and attempted to herd these two sharks away. One of them left, the other shark stayed, and in a move that would be questionable at best, they started ramming the shark with its jet ski.
So there was an act of aggression.
It was very much an act of aggression. You've now got a very annoyed shark, you've got a disoriented shark, you've got Nicole splashing water, which the bull shark doesn't have good eyesight and thinks is a fish in trouble, and bang.
So what happened to Nicole?
She was standing there, and the bull shark is incredibly swift, and it just grabbed onto her leg and took a 15-inch segment of her left thigh, including her hamstring and quadriplex muscles, right down to the femur, the largest bone in the body. Just took it like that, it was gone. The bull shark has incredibly, I think it's 159 teeth, serrated edges, it's just brutal. And that left her blood just gushing all over the place. It was awful. She recognized she was in serious trouble because she couldn't move with her leg. And the shark then swam around and came back, grabbed onto her left arm. The bull shark not only has all these horrible teeth, it has rapacious jaws that are like a vice. It clamped onto her her arm rather, and started moving out to sea. She could have been long gone. She would have simply disappeared and died. Nicole will tell you, as she told me, she doesn't know where she got this primordial urge, but she decided to fight fire with fire. And she took her right hand and smacked it down on this huge beast's nose, and it said, "Oh, all right, I'm out of here," and took off.
And that was what saved her?
That's what saved her life, leaving her with a left arm that was just
severed,
almost severed, and her leg the same way, and she was in serious trouble.
So there's probably not much time for a response from those who were on the shore.
Well, there weren't many people on the shore. This is around noon. Most people had gone up to have a drink before lunch. The two guys on the jet skis were in shock. They were just sitting there with their mouths open. They couldn't respond.
So yeah.
It happened so fast. And after the second attack, this time with the arm, and they saw her hit it, They just couldn't believe what they were seeing. She had to call out to them. Now, mind you, she's in shock and trauma. She can barely talk. But she said, "Help me, please." And one of them, eventually, one of these honchos came to his senses, was able to drive over, grabbed her by her right arm and pulled her up literally, 50 feet in and threw her on the beach.
Wow.
And various people started arriving at that.
Peter, where is Nicole today?
Yes.
Nicole is a head nurse, part-time head nurse in Orangeville, Ontario. She is missing her left arm. It had to be amputated. She is still enduring surgeries to her legs, but doing much better. And the other part of this story, the subtitle of the story, is an amazing story of survival. I have been fortunate, as I know the two of you have in your lives and careers, to have met literally thousands of people. Some of them pretty damn impressive. I put Nicole right up at the top tier. She is so positive, so optimistic. She is an inspiration. She now does speeches, and people are just, there's the old expression, you can't hear a pin drop. It's true. People sit there for 45 minutes, and they're just in awe and inspired by her positive, get up and go, keep going, things happen.
Wow.
This is a lady, a lot of bad things that happened to her in her youth, too, and she's just absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, she sounds amazingly resilient and interesting. And but can we talk a little bit about shark attacks generally? Because I think the subject is so little understood by people like myself. You talked about the bull shark, but there are other kinds of sharks. And is the bull shark a particularly dangerous one? And are there other sharks? Are they all attackers potentially of humans?
No, Helen, that's a very good question. There are 375 types of shark species. I talked to a number of experts in this field in compiling the book. And the bull shark is the worst of them all. The 375, it is the worst shark. If you're going to meet a shark, that's not the one you want to meet. It's very aggressive, very quick. But here's the thing. You are more likely to get hit by a bolt of lightning than you are to be attacked by a shark. Now, I don't know whether either of you know anybody who's been hit by a bolt of lightning. I don't.
Right.
Statistically, you're more likely to win the lottery than to be attacked by a shark. It's very rare. When it happens, of course, it gets headlines. But if you look at the hundreds of millions of people who swim all the time. I mean, I love swimming in the ocean. You were saying at the beginning, I'd rather swim in the ocean than I would the pool. But I'm pretty guarded now about what I do.
That's the thing, in view of what you know, and in view of the fact that I believe shark attacks are increasing. Now, maybe that's just because more people are traveling to ocean paradises, etc. Right. But what would your advice be? Don't bother to go into the ocean, or is that way too paranoid a thing to even consider?
Well, I think it is a little paranoid, Jim, if as I say, if you like swimming in the ocean, which I do, but there are things you can do to avoid an incident with a shark. And you're right, they do seem to be increasing slightly as our waters warm. The sharks are moving north. So you had a situation last summer where 2 individual teenagers were attacked by a shark. But here are a few things you can do to avoid this calamity. First of all, avoid swimming in the very early morning or dusk and at night. That's when sharks feed, and they come in closer to the shore. Avoid wearing anything very bright. The bull shark is sight disadvantaged, but if there's something bright that attracts their attention,
see color.
They do see color, and they can see, for instance, if you had jewelry on. They even say if you have a deep, deep tan and then perhaps some white skin, that could be enough to trigger the shark to say, I think I'll go over and see what's happening over here.
Do the sharks think that humans are food, or are they attacking for other reasons?
The experts told me in the case of Nicole, splashing water on her body to get rid of the sand, the bull shark likely thought she was a fish in trouble. So go over and investigate and see. In most cases, in by far the majority of cases, sharks do not go after humans. They go after fish, turtles.
There should be plenty of fish in the sea.
Well, yeah, indeed.
They're also attracted to blood, are they not?
They are. They are.
And let me tell you a story, because I know I've told you, Peter, but it's an absolutely true story. In the same waters that Nicole was, about a dozen years ago, I was windsurfing just off Cancun. I got blown off the windsurfer, and the mast ended up blowing back across the board as I was in the water, smashed me on the forehead, I started bleeding profusely. I was smart enough to realize that I probably should just swim into shore and not try to surf my way back into shore, but I was really gushing blood. It was not pretty. Am I lucky to be alive?
Very much.
I was 150 yards out.
Yeah, very, very much so. Sharks do smell blood. They have an amazing ability to pick that up. The onlookers, when Nicole was brought in, when the jet ski guy brought her in, there was a 30-foot trail of blood behind her.
Oh.
She lost 60% of her blood. That's a condition we as humans are not supposed to survive. And a lot of that happened in the ocean, and then more so on the beach. So yes, Jim, you could have been picked up by a shark, taken out to sea, as Nicole might have. We never would have heard from you
Well, with
again.
that amount of blood from Nicole, I'm surprised there wasn't a shark frenzy that was attracted.
Indeed.
Yeah, but others didn't come. I mean, it was just this one shark that was ultimately scared away.
The bull shark typically will come in, have a munch, go off, and then come back, and that's what it did. It attacked
Right.
twice.
Doesn't complete the meal.
It then, when it was hit in the nose, decided, no, this isn't worth my time anymore, and took off.
So, you know, it was many years ago, decades ago, when Jaws came out, and I think
40 years.
Yeah, 40 years, and that was the first time I think that fear of sharks as, you know, a natural enemy really hit us as a society.
Yeah, right.
Has that, you know, that was sort of debunked, or it went through a phase of not being as credible.
Well,
it was
Peter
just off a
Benchley,
film.
Peter Benchley, the author,
Yeah.
the late Peter Benchley, he was sorry that he ever wrote the book.
Really?
Because he said he created a level of fear that shouldn't be there.
Right. Would he
I
say
talked
that
with his-
today, do you think?
Oh, very much so. And I talked with his widow, Wendy, who's a real conservationist, and she said, yeah, Peter was sorry he wrote the book. I mean, he made a ton of money between the book and the film.
Yeah.
But he said he created a level of fear of sharks that shouldn't be there, and particularly the great white, which is very rare. Great white shark would attack anybody.
Peter, is there such a thing as a shark repellent that people can either wear, like a cream that you can put on, or is there some kind of device that you can wear that will keep sharks away? Or, as you say,
Or
their
loud noises.
eyesight isn't all that great, and but their sense of smell is. So
Yeah.
has anything been developed that can ward off sharks?
Yeah, there are a couple of things in Australia. By the way, Florida is the #1 site for shark attacks, followed by Australia, followed by South Africa.
Oh, how
Just so you
come?
know.
So Cancun, Mexico isn't even in the top
Mexico's
three.
not even in the top 3. This was so rare for this to happen, extremely rare. But Jim, to your point, in Australia, they're building these shark nets, which are metal mesh nets that they're putting on some of the better beaches. There's also an app you can get on your phone, because increasingly...
There's an app for everything,
there's
isn't
an app
there?
for everything
Just
else.
hold up your phone.
Well, no, increasingly what they're doing, they are trapping sharks and putting tags on them, and this app can show you where tagged sharks are. Now, it's not going to show you where a non-tagged shark is, so you're on your own when it comes to that.
Right.
I'm not aware of potions, salves, creams, or anything. I don't know.
Okay, so prevention is maybe in the form of staying out of waters where sharks are known to be plentiful.
Yeah.
What are some of the safest ocean beaches in the world?
Well, I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, I think you have to be cautious wherever you are. Wherever you have an ocean beach where there's sharks could be, you need to be careful. We have a website, sharkassault.com, and there is a page on that website that will give you all the tips. I mean, I just talked about a couple of them. There's several things that you should avoid doing. Which, again, there's no guarantee, but at least you're not going to put yourself into the face of danger. But I think any beach around the world which is connected to an ocean, which is where the sharks are, it's a possibility.
So there's a certain amount of risk with all of those beaches.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Knowing what you know now, from having read the book and doing all the research and talking to Nicole and so on, would you ever go back in the ocean? I mean, I know you said the chances are very rare, but still, knowing what you know.
I do, because I like to go south in the winter, and I just can't avoid the ocean. But I'm certainly careful. I don't go early in the morning. I don't go at dusk. I do look around. I am mindful, and you know, you just have to be well advised. But
Well, how about Nicole? Did she go back in the ocean?
Nicole actually went back to the very spot where this happened and stepped into the ocean just to show herself that she could do it.
Is that conquering the fear?
Yeah,
Getting
exactly.
past it? Yeah.
Exactly. And it was part of her just dealing with this whole thing. And I give her full marks for doing it. I'm not sure I would have.
Right.
Peter, tell us about the book. How did you come across Nicole, and what caused you to write it? I'm surprised it
And it's a
hasn't been written
collaboration.
before. Yeah.
Well, it's a writer's dream, Jim, no question. It's grist for the mill for anybody who enjoys writing, because you get an opportunity to talk about this incredible assault by the shark, and then you talk about what happens afterwards and Nicole's future. But a friend of mine, Sharon Walton, went to a presentation that Nicole did to a provost club. And Sharon went to Nicole afterwards and said, "You got to write a book about this." Nicole said, "Well, I've been told that before, but I don't know anything about writing or publishing," or she's also dyslexic, which makes it difficult. And Sharon said, "Look, I've got a friend who's a writer," that'd be me, "and I think you two had really hit it off. May I connect you?" She did. Nick and I got together, and Shark Assault is the outcome of that. That's how we met.
And tell us where people can get it. It's going to be
Right,
published
all
in a couple of
bookstores?
weeks in November.
Yes, my publisher is Dundurn, Canada's largest independent publisher. I'm very happy to be with Dundurn. It will be in bookstores by the middle of November. And you can pre-order a copy if you want to go on to Amazon or Chapters or Barnes & Noble. You can do that right now and pre-order a copy. And I think as of very early in November, you can get a Kindle or Kobo copy.
Okay, so all available avenues. And thank you so much for joining us today and telling us this story. We'll be
Absolutely.
back
Thank you.
with more Toronto Files after the break.